Hello, it's Kenny here, and welcome to the third part of setting up Fantasy Mythos in the E.P.I.C system. This here is all about the Intrigue section of E.P.I.C, the I pillar. Now, I've set all this up previously. I've shown you this story here. This came from when I was created plays. And what I've done also now is I have created these down on the left hand side. Conflicts here I've left open. That they will be filled in when conflicts come up during play or when I'm doing more world building later on. Now up to Southlands. So the stories of the Southlands, first of all I need to find out a bit more about Southlands, and this is what I've done. To be honest, these could probably go into place under these locations on the right hand side here, but at the moment I left them here just to show you how they come about, because to find out about Southlands I need to find out to create a story, and to create a story I need to find out about the place. So it's a bit of an interweaved section here. So the Southlands, I used Rory story cubes to come up with 3 pictures. Or here I've got a picture of a plane, aircraft, a wishing well, and a hunter with a spear. Now, each of these I then expanded a bit further. So plane, for plane I did a bit of brainstorming and came up with these here. They want to spread their knowledge, they want to travel, they're futuristic, technology and advanced. Wishing well comes to desire, drink is important, they want to help people, and water. And hunter with spear comes under hunter, attack, defend, warlike and control. Using these keywords I can add some sort of details around them. Here, desire to spread knowledge and advanced technology. They're warlike, so they've got some wars there. They're defensive lookout. There's some places where wars still happen, and they want places around them want to help solve issues. They want to help solve issues. The one thing I haven't done is actually watering. We could say they've come from the sea, or the sea is very important to them, or rivers or something like that. That I haven't used, but I could come in later on. Now, I also wanted to create how many different power blocks there are within the Southlands. If you remember back in place here, I said Southlands like the Rome, city-states of Italy, Greece, Japan, China, Mayan and Aztec, for a bit more of the chaotic parts of things. But for the Intrigue, I said there's 4 major power blocks. These major power blocks come into warlike, who believe that advance is made through conflict. Knowledge, who believe advance is made through learning and spread of knowledge. Defense, I believe is advance has come from having a safe place to practice. And desire, and advance is made through wanting more. All of these are pretty good philosophies of how different things advance, but you need to, my personal opinion, you need all of them to fit in there. Now I want epochs here. Each epoch throughout the Northlands, Southlands, Northlands and Marches, in each epoch is not equivalent to each epoch of each other. It's just a nebulous span of time. So for the Marches, you notice I put 4 epochs, but on the Southlands, so epoch 4 is where the Marches were actually created. So to get to these epochs, I just rolled 2 Rory story cubes, and just whatever came in my mind, I just write down a short sentence or a couple of sentences, a small paragraph, just to figure out what's happening here. So, like for Epoch 1, the cargo and the wolf, the early days, a small group of settlers travelled into the region holding something important. They then settled down, surviving and eventually calming the wilderness. If you look up here, I could talk about water, so I could travelled into the region from over the seas. There we go. Holding something important. In the second epoch, got cave and mountains. So these settlers organised groups of companions who explored the mountains and caves within in an attempt to bring order to the whole region. Epoch 3, things settled down and are happy. Order is going well and spreading throughout the region, displacing chaos. And then Epoch 4, multi-direction arrow and satellite. Order stagnated and began to look out from their current borders rather than push out and impose order and chaos around them. They set up buffer zones to help keep their heartlands safe from the chaos. So these buffer zones here is what the marches here are. Now, Northlands, again I've done the same. I've done 3 story cubes to create 3 lists of writers. Using these here, I've then used keywords to make up some more paragraphs to talk about more about what the Northlands are like. They like to explore, watch and find hidden things. They're violent yet have limits with their violence. They may appear primitive but they live within nature. And they like things to be clear, visible and understandable. They don't like really deep depth philosophy which tries to twist things around on itself and then come out with something completely random and not clear. They want things to be simple. Think of straight lines rather than the intricate Celtic crosses. Epoch 1, again, ladder and bandit. There are lots of small groups and tribes, all of which are trying to survive and maybe get more power than their neighbours. So that's a long way before the Southlands even arrived. Epoch 2, plain devil, demon or gremlin. From elsewhere, new creatures came which provided power for certain tribes and groups. So this is the otherworld people coming into here, extraplanar creatures. And the alien city on the moon. There's a longer paragraph here because it made sense to do that. And basically he's just saying how these creatures form together to create a city for themselves. And the flower and rain. Under pressure from outside the Southlands, the Northlands form their own ways to protect themselves. And this is Epoch 4. Epoch 3, Epoch 4 is about the sort of time when the Southlands arrived. Now, into the March is where most of our stories will happen. Again, the 3 Rory story cubes and the keywords they've got from them. And this is the whole describing more about the marches. So it's an immigrant civilization. People come to here from both north and south. It's not, the marches aren't just themselves, they have people come travelling to them in and out. It's a big mass of people. They're tough, big, strong fortifications, massive, immense castles built on craggy outcrops, walls which stretch across farmland. It's just, you know, massive, immense castles. If you've seen some of the big castles we've got in England here, you'll sort of know what castles I'm talking about. They've got a sense of purpose. The people are aligned with a mission. They have a pattern and a routine. There's good technology. Maybe not quite as advanced as the Southlands, but it's good enough for what they want. It was set up by the Southlands on a promise to help keep the Southlands safe. There's good farmlands there, ironically, and it acts as a buffer to keep the Southlands from interfering with the Northlands. So again, it's a middle ground in the middle between order and chaos, and trying to a good mix between order and chaos there. Epoch 1, the marches were granted to people on behalf of the rulers of the Southlands. A charter was created. Then you got the unlimited freedoms. The Southlands wanted the marches to come back under their control, but what happened was that the Southlands made the charter, ordered the charter so that they wouldn't have their own family. So they had their own royal families. It's been a little while since I wrote this. The Southlands then granted the junior royal family the rights to the crown. The Marches didn't like this, and there's a war ensued. So all of this came from chalice and crown. The Southlands permitted this new family to rule the Marches. So the Southlands were worried that the Marches were powerful enough to actually invade the Southlands. So they come to a compromise there. In the third epoch, fuel gauge and torch, the new monarch wanted more people to settle in the Marches. They did some searching in the Southlands, but the Southlands realised how weak the Marches were, and they were talking about trying to reclaim the Marches. So they got some people from the Northlands to join them. This is the first time the Northlands and Southlands joined the Marches here, probably. And when the army from the south came up to the Marches, they found a big welcoming army there. And basically they sort of said, okay, fine, that's happy, and walked off again. And then you got the fourth epoch, Toad and Blackbird. Basically they found a way of two different groups, the Toad and the Blackbird, the North and the South, to live together to create a unique civilization. So that there is the Marches. If you look at interplay here, the Marches and Southlands, I've created some sort of stories in there. At the moment it's looking mostly, I'll probably set my stories in the south part of the Marches rather than the northern part of the Marches. Hence I put this sort of thing in here rather than talking about everything else. While like the northern neighbours and the closeness of chaos, the Southlands keep an eye on the Marches. The Marches on the flip side set up forts, walls and army, not to keep out the northern people at the Southlands, but to keep the Southlands trying not to invade the Marches again. And as I said here, conflicts, when I start playing the game, the conflicts there will come in. But at the moment it's just because it's about this is all big picture stuff, and I want to work on the small picture, a cult taking over or trying to take over a town. So at the moment I'm not too worried about adding mega epic conflicts in. That's the third pillar, Intrigue, completed. Next time we'll go on to the fourth pillar of character there. Until then, bye.